The moment you hear that 103 schools across the country had every cent of their lunch debt wiped clean, $347,000 worth of balances erased, your first instinct might be to look for cameras, press releases, red carpets, or check social media for trending hashtags. But there are none. No flashing bulbs, no public selfies, no carefully staged feel-good videos. Just a quiet statement on a cafeteria receipt: your balance is cleared. Enjoy your meal. Behind that simple message is Kendrick Lamar and his wife, Whitney Alford, choosing to let their generosity speak in whispers rather than shouts. Welcome to celebrity rap life, where the red carpets never roll up and the spotlight never fades. The rewards are legendary. Because in celebrity rap life, every downfall can become a comeback, and every headline tells a deeper story. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of what's coming next. In a culture where charitable acts by celebrities are often measured by media impressions, Kendrick and Whitney chose an alternate path. For families and communities from Los Angeles to Detroit, New Orleans to Chicago, this was more than charity. It was relief, dignity restored, an end to the shame of unpaid lunch tickets. For many students, the cafeteria line had become a daily reminder of what their parents could not afford. Denied the hot meal they saw their peers enjoy, given a cold cheese sandwich instead, or sometimes nothing at all, they carried that burden into classrooms and hallways, each unpaid bill a secret tally of what they lacked. On a crisp Monday morning not long ago, email threads among school administrators lit up with disbelief. A principal in Compton opened her inbox to find her district's entire lunch debt log cleared. Another in Detroit discovered that her school of 700 students owed $0. Word spread through hushed phone calls. Check yours too. No memo explained who did it or why. The only clue was a small note at the bottom of each cleared bill, typed in plain language: "You are seen. You are worthy." In some schools, that note read, "This balance is cleared with love. Keep going." In others, "No child should ever worry about lunch." And in all of them, the message was personal. Imagine being a cafeteria worker when that first cleared bill appears. You scan the student's name, see the zero balance, then glance at the note. You blink, thinking it's a mistake. Then you look at the next one. And the next. Hundreds of names, once burdened with debt, now free. You feel your throat tighten. You know the stories behind those balances. The single parent stretched to the limit, the family living paycheck to paycheck, the household hit by medical bills. You realize that someone cared enough to wipe away months of anxiety with a quiet gesture. You wonder who could move that much money without asking for a photo op. When school leaders finally traced the payments back to their source, they found an anonymous foundation. But those who know Kendrick Lamar's journey, the boy from Compton who rose to become a Pulitzer Prize-winning artist, recognize the signature. His life and lyrics have long been a testament to empathy born from struggle. His early albums captured the raw reality of growing up in neighborhoods where basic needs go unmet. Now, faced with the opportunity to act, he did so not for headlines or accolades, but because he understood that hunger is more than an empty stomach. It's a barrier to learning, to confidence, to childhood itself. Kendrick's decision to pair with Whitney for this initiative speaks volumes about partnership and purpose. Whitney Alford, known to many simply as Lamar's steadfast support, shares his commitment to community. Together, they made calls, coordinated with regional food service providers, and ensured the funds reached the right accounts. They did it quietly, opting out of the spotlight so that the students and families remained the focal point. Their humility reframed the idea of celebrity philanthropy. Sometimes the greatest impact is made behind the scenes. By the time local news outlets caught wind of the story, it was already spreading by word of mouth. Parents spoke of tears at the dinner table when their child returned home with a note from school: "Your lunch is covered." Teachers recounted students who, for the first time, asked to eat in the cafeteria instead of sharing crowded desks or going hungry. School counselors reported fewer children seeking help for food insecurity, because the immediate worry was gone. For many, that meant being able to focus on math problems instead of meal plans. Yet even as gratitude poured in, thank you letters from PTA groups, hand-drawn cards from first graders, an impromptu assembly in New Orleans where the band played "All Right" in tribute, Kendrick and Whitney remained silent. No Instagram story, no tweet, no thank you speech. They let the notes on lunch receipts carry the message that every child deserves to walk into the cafeteria and feel normal. That sometimes dignity comes in the form of a simple meal. That generosity needs no audience. In an industry often defined by bravado and self-promotion, the Lamar family's choice was radical. It reminds us that power can be exercised without trumpets or spotlights. That real influence is measured by lives changed, not likes earned. And that the roots of Kendrick's art, his empathy, his unflinching honesty, his commitment to community, extend far beyond studio walls and stage lights. As the school year marches on, the reverberations of this act continue. Districts that once operated in financial caution now have breathing room. Cafeteria lines flow more smoothly. Barriers to learning have been lowered. And for the students who peeked at those notes and saw their own names, a quiet affirmation: you matter. If you've ever wondered whether hip-hop and humanity can coexist on the same stage, Kendrick and Whitney just deliver the answer. True greatness isn't defined by awards or record sales. It's defined by compassion in action. And in wiping out lunch debt for 103 schools, they show that sometimes the loudest statements are made in silence. Switch gears, and you find a very different kind of conversation happening in hip-hop right now. Last week, J. Cole told fans that, in his view, Drake got absolutely smoked on the collaborative track, First Person Shooter, not in a diss exchange, but musically, verse for verse. In a candid moment, Cole said he admired Drake's choice to prioritize the song itself over competition or reputation. Drake knows he got smoked on First Person Shooter, Cole observed. He chose the song over the competition or what people are going to say. And I admired that a lot. It takes a whole level of egolessness to do that. Those comments sent ripples through social media feeds and group chats alike. Fans immediately began dissecting the track. Whose verse hit harder? Who had the best wordplay, the sharpest punchlines, the most memorable flow? First Person Shooter isn't just another collaborative single. It's a showcase of two of rap's biggest names stepping into the same arena. Drake, with his melodic instincts and knack for earworm hooks, brought his characteristic blend of vulnerability and swagger. He painted vivid scenes of ambition, betrayal, and self-reflection, layering catchy choruses over atmospheric production. His verse struck a tone that was both familiar and fresh, reminding listeners why he remains a chart-dominating force. Then Kendrick Lamar entered the fray. Known for his razor-sharp lyricism and dynamic delivery, he approached the beat like a minefield, navigating it with precision and intensity. His lines landed like well-thrown jabs, each bar building on the last, culminating in a closing salvo that left jaws on the floor. For Kendrick, First Person Shooter was another canvas for his storytelling. This time, in the context of a direct collaboration rather than a solo narrative. When J. Cole said Drake got SMK'd, he wasn't just engaging in friendly debate, he was spotlighting a deeper principle. In hip-hop's competitive ecosystem, artists often feel pressure to outshine each other, to land the most quotable line, to win the clout battle. Cole's praise for Drake's decision to accept the outcome, to serve the song rather than his ego, resonates as a lesson in artistic humility. It suggests that true growth comes from collaboration, from recognizing when someone else shines brighter, and from celebrating that brilliance instead of shying away from it. So now we come to you, the listeners and the lovers of rap music. Who had the best verse on First Person Shooter? Was it Drake, with his seamless blend of melody and rhythm, offering a verse that hooked you at first listen? Or was it Kendrick, whose ferocity and precision reminded you of why he's called one of the greatest lyricists of our time? Maybe your answer depends on what you value in verse writing. Maybe you're drawn to clever wordplay and metaphors, which might tip the scales toward Kendrick. Or perhaps you lean toward emotional resonance and catchy cadences, giving Drake the edge. Or maybe you marvel at how seamlessly the two artists blend their distinct styles into a cohesive track. There's no single right answer, only the conversation that follows. And that conversation is at the heart of hip-hop culture, the debates, the disagreements, the spirited discussions that keep the art form alive. From the quiet generosity of clearing lunch dead in Compton and beyond to the spirited competitive energy of First Person Shooter, hip-hop continues to reveal its many layers. It's a genre of contrasts, public gestures and private acts, competition and collaboration, humility and bravado. In the end, what unites these stories is a commitment to something greater than oneself. Kendrick Lamar and Whitney Alford chose to uplift communities without fanfare. J. Cole chose to celebrate an artist's selfless performance. Maybe that's the lesson we carry forward. Greatness is measured not just by what you achieve, but by how you choose to share your gifts and honor the gifts of others. So tell us, Who had the best verse on first-person shooter? And how will you choose to let your own actions speak, whether in silence or on the mic? This story is far from over, and the truth is still unfolding. I want to hear what you think. Drop your take in the comments. And if you don't want to miss the next twist, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of what's coming next.